Thank you, Sevan, for this kind words. You have been very helpful for ArtFi, for Artinals in general, and your guidance and support was something that has taken us today where we are in terms of supporting from marketing, supporting from, in general guidance. Thank you very much for the kind introduction. I would like to invite my mentor and advisor to ArtFi and a very old friend, Mr. Ajit Khurana, to join me in this panel to have discussion.
Thanks, yeah. Thank you.
That's fine.
Nice. They say that knowledge, wealth, or any other such positive gains come to those who deserve it. And this audience, in choosing to be here today, I think deserves it, Asif. So let's make the next 20 minutes really the best 20 minutes they've ever got in this area.
Thank you very much. So now, as we begin to understand that why we started building on Sui, and why being an art connoisseur for around 14 years, dealing in modern contemporary fine arts, running a gallery, auction, publication, cataloging, all these things, why it was important to think of inclusivity, why it was important to think of building on Sui, and why it was very important to build a token standard that redefined the non-fungible token standard on Sui. So we'll begin with that, and being here, in the Sui Basecamp, it is important to highlight the beauty and the culture and the technology and the support Mr. Labs and Sui Foundation brings to the founder like me, and how they are shaping the innovations in this space. So Ajit sir, please feel free to ask anything about how we are going to do that. And
so I'm going to take one step back, or rather, go at a higher level. Everybody in the blockchain space, all these people in the audience, Sui, Artinals, you, basically is a dreamer, because they saw the world as it was and thought that they could make it better, or they could be participant in a better world. So at a very high level, before we get into things like the infrastructure layer or the real world assets, at a high level, what are you up to? In the sense, what is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to see? Where are you headed?
So on the high level, the idea is to democratize the access. The base layer of the conversation is that we want to democratize the access, because when you democratize the access, you lead towards the path of adoption. And accessibility is the first step for that, and then adoption, and then create a market for anything in general. This is historical, that's how it has happened. The idea is to democratize the access in general. Here, what we're talking today is the tokenization of real-world asset beyond the buzzword that we have been listening in the last 3-4 years. My humble argument through Art20 is that we should not converting any real-world asset into a currency or a fungible tokens. It lacks original approach of non-fungible token, which brings ownership, on-chain authenticity, and provenance. So any real-world asset token should be handled with the non-fungible approach. However, the problem that we have faced so far is that the non-fungible approach lacks liquidity and tradability, and that's the main reason that people choose the fungible approach, but they forget that choosing the fungible approach, you are creating a lot of cryptocurrencies and tokens in general, which lacks the on-chain authenticity and provenance. So my argument is that we should choose the non-fungible way, but let's find a way that it makes it more tradable and liquid, and that's where we launched Artinals protocol.
Excellent. One of the reasons for that might be that the word non-fungible is associated with monkey pictures and funny-looking pixelated graphics, right? While in reality, almost all assets in the world, barring financial securities, are non-fungible.
Yeah. Including us.
Including us, including everything we own. Your car versus my car versus... Everything is non-fungible. So the fact that most assets are non-fungible should mean that most on-chain assets are non-fungible. Having said that, we had ERC20, BEP20, and whatever 20, and now we have ART20. Tell us, what is ART20?
So ART stands for Asset Reference Token. So we have customized this entire standard, looking forward to have real-world asset tokenization on Sui. So asset reference token means anything that you want to bring on chain, any asset, towards the real-world asset basically. So our focus is more on real-world asset, but we want to solve the problem of existing non-fungible token economy in general. So as I said, the approach is to choose the non-fungible approach. So when you choose that, every asset that is going to be converting into any kind of tokens is going to be non-fungible in nature.
Correct.
So it has to be attached with any asset that can be. So this ART comes from from a point of UAE, European Union regulations, MICAs, they also have termed the token, which is not a stable, which is real world asset tokens, as ART. And it will be always arguably in the future that whether we did it first and they did it first. But we launched the blog with Mistin Labs around 12 months before about ART20. And the idea behind this is, as I explained very simply, that we believe in non-fungibility than fungibility. Fungibility is important for make it fluid, water. But non-fungibility is important because that's very deeply human. Ownership is very important.
Correct. There's no argument. We did it first. Just keep that in mind. So never an argument. Having said that, since you said asset, and everything is an asset around us, name one or two so that I can take an example and take this.
Real estate.
Real
music,
estate.
Yeah.
Now, real estate, we consume it in a wide variety of ways. The most common consumption is to own it. But then you also live in it. Then you also register your ownership with some official. So how would these characteristics be translated into an ART20 paradigm?
So you're talking about the regulatory compliance of...
That is correct, yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of the strongest USP we have. While we started building Artinals, we were keeping this in mind that none of the real-world asset tokenization around the world, in Dubai or anywhere else, is not going to work without the proper compliance and in order to work with the government authority and whatsoever the compliance authority is. So the way it works basically, if you have heard of the new information where DLD, Dubai Land Department, has announced that you can now tokenize the title deed basically. So the infrastructure are getting ready, but are we ready as a technology service provider to facilitate those infrastructure by the government to align your technology with that so that it can merge together and it can bring the value to the people to tokenize their assets seamlessly. We cannot be a regulatory ourselves. We are not regulators. But are we ready? Is our technology ready to be compliant with them, aligned with them to do that? So this works in a very simple way. So for example, a real estate is getting tokenized in Dubai. We are going to work in the same framework that they have already announced. Okay, but we are compliant with that internally with the inbuilt KYC and AML and all these things inside, so that we are not going to change a lot of things. So we have built parallelly with the regulators, rather than building in advance and then changing the entire process when they announce something else in the future that this is not the way we do it.
So loosely, you could say there are four big players. One is the government regulator. We've talked about them. Then there's a technology creator and provider, which is you. Then there are two others. One is the people who bring the asset to the system, and second is the one who consume it. Let's call it the buyer. Let's focus on this last guy. Because if this last guy does not get excited, all the rest are just standing in queue. So what do you think is going to be your approach, or what do you think is going to be the likely approach of getting people to buy tokenized asset and participate in that economy?
So it has, I think this question has 2 points, basically. One is that how we are going to facilitate this.
Correct.
And second is economically how it is going to be beneficial for them.
Correct.
So to answer the second part, tokenization in general is going to open up a global market for everyone, right? So a person sitting in New York can participate in the fractional ownership of one of the apartment in the Burj Khalifa on MR. So this does not come with us. This does not come with any protocol like Artinals or anyone else. This comes generally with the tokenization approach. It opens up a global economy for everything, and it removes all the barriers, and now you can participate in the asset in general. This is what tokenization is doing. It is a very inclusive approach to make people or anyone giving access to the asset class that were not accessible for them before, like art, like $1 million apartment or something else. But the other way is that if an asset, like you said, a Bored Ape or something else, if you have a framework which is working exactly the way government wants you to work, and it is safe, secure for the investors, it is no more the speculative market, right? So we are moving forward to now talking about a massive real-world asset going to be using blockchain technology to create the accessibility for a lot of users. That only comes when the infrastructure and framework is absolutely clean, ready, and clear. And that is the excitement we all are waiting, that when can we buy? When you buy an asset on chain, and the asset represents a real-world asset, the token represents a real-world asset, and when it is all compliant with the regulatory and it's all very clear for them, for the users. It brings automatic zest in your life to have the participation in that. So technology is making it accessible, and the clarity in the regulatory and frameworks making it all interesting to be participating in that, in my opinion.
So you're saying that on the one hand there is access which otherwise may not have been available. Second is there's ease of procuring as well as selling,
Yeah.
and without losing any of the benefits of the non-tokenized version.
Yeah.
Cool. So I remember, Asif, I met you for the first time on 15th October 2021. I do not remember on what date I first met my wife, but I remember what date I first met you, because I was going to check out the next morning from 4 Points by Sheraton. And I was about to head to my room. It was 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine says, I have another friend I want you to meet. I'm like, it's 1 a.m. And that's when I met you.
Yeah.
So one very big difference between what we were talking about then and now actually has been this marriage made in heaven that you are in presently, which is Sui.
Yeah.
So tell us more about why Sui, how that happened, and why it is that you seem to get along so well with this ecosystem.
This is my favorite question, to be honest, Ajay sir. A lot of people are asking me, like in event and otherwise also. When we started building, I come from India, and the hype of Polygon was there. So we started building on Polygon. And later on, when I started reading more concepts of blockchain, Sui was very new then. They launched their tokens and all. So my reason to choose to go towards that path is it has a very different, strong reasons from my personal perspective. So the first reason is that we started reading about Sui blockchain, and since ArtFi was the prime concept that time, and its object-oriented mechanism that Sui brings, makes a lot of sense for any kind of asset class like art to be using the technology for, like, you will hear the answer of speed and all these technical terms. But for us, it was very simple that we wanted enterprise-grade quality. We wanted a mentor. We wanted a team that supports the founder beyond the limit. I, as a founder or as an entrepreneur, believe that you don't only take the technology from a company, but you also learn a lot of ethical practices, the way they handle things, the way they manage things. It's a very big company based in America, very vast, very intelligent people. They have worked in biggest company in the world. So for us, it was a great experience to be working with the brilliant minds around the world, and one of the company that is leading forward to have and create an impact in the ecosystem. So the reason for technology-wise was the object-oriented mechanism, and many more reasons like that. For example, the Artinals protocol that you see today is all possible because of Sui. We have ERC 721, we have 1155, we have 3643, we have 404, and ART20 is the most dynamic and advanced, not because of we made it, but because it was possible to build on Sui. So these technological answers can be many based on different projects. But from my side and from my team side, it was always the reason to be learning from the best, and they are the best.
Right. So Team Sui, you're either here or you're watching this. That is a huge thumbs up for you, because I must say that it is one thing to sell something to a founder, and then when a founder is using you and you're getting such fabulous feedback, I think that is like hats off to Team Sui. When I think of you, frankly, the second word that comes to my mind is Artinals. The first word that comes to my mind is ArtFi.
Yeah.
Is there a correlation between these two ventures?
So ArtFi is my first child, right? Now I have a daughter, so second. A dog is the third. So the reason of Artinals is ArtFi.
Okay.
So I'll tell you very briefly, since the timer is on. So as you guys know, I started my journey when I was 19-year-old, built the art gallery and ran that gallery for around 13 years. I wanted to tokenize the art to make it accessible for the retail investors to participate in the museum-grade art pieces. And it works with the very much like one of the company in America called Masterworks. But we wanted to do it on-chain. And we did it. And the first artwork we brought was one of the very big mega star from India called Salman Khan. And we sold out his painting for $300,000. It was fractionalized in 10,000 pieces. I was not happy the way whole process went and the way I was expecting it to be tradable and liquid. So for an art guy, it was revolutionary. For the art background people, they say, oh my God, the tangible asset, which was limited for the selected of 4% of the people of the world, now you made it accessible for $30 a fraction, 10,000 fraction, we sold for $300,000. But deep down somewhere in my heart, I was not happy because I wanted to see that to be as tradable, as liquid as crypto tokens. And when I see NFTs and fungible and non-fungible, I see it from a two sons or daughter of a blockchain as a father. And I believe that the one son or daughter, whatever you call it, I'm not trying to make it only sons and daughter, has evolved so much that it has everything from the wallet to the infrastructure level to DeFi was the main reason to grow in that direction. But non-fungible token, from its inception, became very static and lying down and relaxed and not doing much. So similarly, the fractions are lying down on OKX marketplace and not doing much. I wanted to see it in the pair with USDC and trading with, and getting traded with a spot order, limit order, order book, AMM, all these things. So I wanted to maintain the fashion of how crypto is getting traded. So another brother should also get the, all the characteristic and functionality of the tradability and liquidity. So that's where Artinals came in picture because I wanted to make Picasso pegged with USDT, getting traded on DEX like any other crypto tokens. Nice. So that's the inception. ARTFi is the main reason. And the next artwork, ARTFi, is going to use ART20 on Sui. So you will not see the same way you saw the Salman's painting. Nice. You will see in a very different fashion that art is now trading in a different fashion like before.
Excellent. Tell us, a crypto token, especially of a particular genre such as ERC20, has not evolved at all. NFTs seem to be evolving. And there's this new thing we hear of called a dynamic NFT.
Yeah.
What is a dynamic NFT and what benefits does it bring?
So basically, it's a great initiative, and we have a dynamic NFT standard on Sui. To be honest, I was reading about it. So when we started building ART20, and we had a lot of discussions with Sui solution engineers and the team, we came up with the thought of having this standard called dynamic NFT. The major difference I see here is that we wanted to go as close as we can to the fungibility concept. However, dynamic NFT, you can see ART20 has the dynamic NFT in it.
Okay.
But dynamic NFT itself alone cannot create the impact that we wanted to create. So the reason is that non-fungible token in general do not go close to the fungible approach. That's the difference, right?
Correct.
We wanted to make both of them friends or marrying each other so that the child can become ART20.
I think after giving that example of not knowing the date I met my wife, this child, lover, all of the discussions came. I take the full blame for that.
Son and daughter also came.
Son, daughter, yeah. So here's the thing. Dynamic means something that changes. So once you acquire it first and hold it for some time, something changes. So what part is dynamic in that NFT?
Can be a metadata. So for an example, you have Bored Ape, and the reality and the descriptions and the metadata back in the days you minted on ERC 721. But with the dynamic NFTs or with the approach that Sui has, you can actually, let's say for an example, you are Louvre Museum, you have 10,000 pieces of art. The 500 pieces are around the world on the moving 24/7 or maybe 12 months on different exhibitions. Now you can update the metadata of those moving pieces and keep the people aware that these particular pieces are in Louvre Abu Dhabi and these particular pieces are in India and these are in the exhibition.
That changes.
And you can change that with our dashboard. It's very easy to change all this information here.
So we are running out of time. So I want one more information from you. We can see on the screen there are those 3 boxes saying tokenize, launch, and trade.
Yeah.
Can you just explain what this is so that it becomes real?
Yeah, so I'll take you through this. So the process of creation or creating any asset or tokenizing any asset, this is not only for the real world asset, it can be gaming assets, it can be digital native, any kind of assets. So the 3 steps are there to start. So we have built end-to-end no-code solutions where you can take 35 seconds, maybe approx, to create the entire 10,000 fractions or 10,000 collections. And the next step is that you use our launchpad, which is a decentralized launchpad called RealPad. There you can just launch the collection the way you launch on CDFI or any other launchpad for your crypto tokens. And the third step is our DEX, which is called Real Exchange, where you can initiate the market for your tokens. So these are the 3 steps. all combined takes 80 seconds in general to create and launch and trade your NFTs. And this is the process and we have a wallet that is coming up. And this is very interesting to know that this is the first time you are going to see a third thing in the wallet beside the coin and NFTs, which is going to be ART20. It's an NFTs.
Nice.
But this represents your real world asset the way it should be represented and in the fashion of coin. So you will see if you have an asset in real estate or maybe equity or maybe commodities or fine art. This is how you are going to see ART token will be displaying in a different infrastructure with time. For now, we have our wallet, which should be live hopefully in the next week. And then obviously we'll be partnering with other wallets so that ART20 can be integrated and can be displayed the way it is. One more important thing is that if you guys have a wallet, you cannot transfer 5 NFTs choosing from your wallet and send. However, you can choose $5,000 and just transfer to any friends. Now, with ART20 on Sui, you can transfer by quantity from your wallet. So you can just choose 5 and you can send the 5 transfer. There are a lot of innovations and a lot of things that we have done. And I think we are done with the time.
I still have one yes or no kind of question, or actually number kind of question. This tokenize, launch and trade, when will this actually be live for everybody in this room?
So it went mainnet yesterday. It's live.
It's already live.
You can do it now, yeah.
So
we are also partnering with
This is absolutely fabulous. Thank you, Asif. Thank you. This has been very nice.
Thank you for the really tough questions you have asked.
I think it was just my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Give it up one more time for Asif Kamal of ArtFi.